The Flash movie is now out, starring our fave, Ezra Miller. We've both seen it. We both have plenty of thoughts. Felicity, what are your initial reactions?
I was okay with mostly everything except for the CGI and Ezra.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I think let's start with the positives and then we can go into the negatives. For me, I have only a few positives to list. It did have a few good jokes. A few. Not all of them landed, but they had some good ones making fun of Barry, which I appreciated. What did you think about the humor in here, Felicity?
I at least did appreciate that they were able to make fun of his run because his running as the Flash was god awful. It's always been god awful and it's always been like kind of a meme, but they actually did make fun of it in this movie. So that was funny.
Mhm.
Um, and I I can't say that much of the other humor landed with me. I got to be honest.
That's fair. I do remember laughing a few times, but sometimes it was just a little too cringy for me, a little too on the nose. But they did have a few good ones in there, which I appreciated. That's as detailed as my positives get.
I mean, look, I wasn't expecting much from Sasha Kaye, but she wasn't actually as bad as I thought. She was going to be in this. I think she was actually a positive. Overall.
That's fair. Yeah. I think comparing it to some of the other recent DC movies that we've gotten, I think it was better than Shazam 2, maybe even better than Black Adam. And when I was walking into the theater, a woman was saying that it was good for a DC movie. And I understand where she's coming from. I think that that's a good way to put it. Like, it's not amazing, but compared to the other stuff that we've gotten, it's not the worst, you know?
Well, I actually enjoyed Black Adam. It wasn't the best movie. I think I ended up giving it like a 7 out of 10. Shazam 2, I can't remember what rating I gave that one. But I would say that I might have enjoyed that one slightly more than
Mm,
this, but that's not saying, a whole lot.
yeah, exactly. That is fair. So those are my positives. Do you have any more Felicity?
There was a point when I was watching this movie, the whole Batfleck stuff that was happening at the beginning of the movie. I said to my husband while we were watching, I was like, "Yeah, I think I want to watch that movie rather than this movie that we're actually watching."
Mm.
So I
That
guess that's a
is fair.
positive.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, actually this is a kind of a side note, but at the theater beforehand the Blue Beetle trailer played. I realized that I'm not really excited for that movie whatsoever, and then I was like, well, at least the Flash is out. At least, this movie that we've been waiting for so long is finally here. And I remember thinking like, oh, it's been such a long wait. I hope that it exceeds expectations. But I was sadly disappointed. We kind of knew a lot of what was going to happen going into it. So walking out of it, I wasn't really given anything super new. The movie just kind of met expectations and in some ways didn't. The CGI and yeah, we can get more into some of the issues. But overall I was just like, okay, it didn't exceed expectations, and for how long of a wait it was and how much the media was hyping this movie up, maybe to get people in the theater. But I think some people were sorely disappointed. Some of those people is me, unfortunately.
Yeah, this was underwhelming for me. Because there was so much hype, going into it, and not that I necessarily fell for that, but a lot of the reports were that, Ezra was the best thing in the movie. I ended up feeling that he was the worst. So
Mm, that's fair. See, I did appreciate having two extras there. The young and the older was a good dynamic to bounce off of each other in certain aspects. I liked how it made fun of the character. Like, yeah, you are overwhelming and a lot and annoying. And I think that it kind of spoke for the audience in some ways and was like, yes, this is the character. I don't love this character, but at least we can acknowledge that.
yeah, see, it's kind of different for me because I absolutely hated Ezra Miller as the Flash. I
Mm.
thought he always was a horrible version of Barry Allen. So seeing him and having another version of him, it just made it like totally worse for
Yeah.
me. So
That's fair. Do you think that we'll see Extra again in the future after seeing this movie?
not in this role. I'm sorely hoping that James Gunn watched this movie and he was like, I can way improve on this. I could do so
Yeah.
much better than what this was. So I have some high hopes for James Gunn's DCU. And they need to move away from all of this stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on this movie because we have all these cameos and all these callbacks to these characters and also resetting the whole universe. Like, there's a lot going on. So, this movie had to come out. It couldn't pull a Batgirl. But I think I would have been okay without it. So maybe we can get into some of our specific gripes. The most prominent one, other than Extra, for me is the CGI.
So bad, so bad.
It was distractingly bad. Like,
That scene with the babies at the beginning, I was just like, what? This is so horrible. Oh.
yeah. Exactly, yeah. And even so with both Barry and also with Supergirl, like there were multiple moments where I was like, really? Yeah, it didn't look great. Like it looked like it was, I would say like an old video game, but I don't want to insult video games. Like it just did not look right. And I don't know where all this money went to.
Yeah, I mean, they've been working on this movie for 10 years. There's obviously been a lot of reshoots. I mean, it was kind of like a patchwork quilt. You could kind of tell that. But my thinking is Zaslav looked at it and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to put too much more, money into this. So, we're going to roll what we got.
Yeah, how much money did they spend on all of these actors and these cameos and these callbacks? It was nice to see Keaton and all these characters, but I don't feel like it added to the story. Like I feel like they relied on nostalgia and callbacks pretty heavily to distract from the rest of the movie. But I don't know, it was a little bit too heavy-handed for me. I was just like, okay, I get it. This is nice, but let's move on. I think I was just done with the movie. Like so all the extra stuff that they gave, I was just like not into it?
Yeah, the one thing that I have referenced previously, the cameo that really bothered me that I didn't spoil was the Christopher Reeve one. I I'm sure his family approved that, so fine, but just when I initially found out about it, I just was like, "Oh no, this is not right." It just didn't feel right. you know?
Yeah.
So that was a disappointment, but I'm glad I got spoiled on it before I watched the movie because if I had seen it initially in the movie, I think I just probably would have walked out. I would have been like,
Mm.
"What is this?"
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know any. I knew what was in the trailer, but other than that, I didn't know much about this movie. I kind of stayed away from the spoilers. And I was very surprised with how many cameos and characters they gave us. The one that kind of like I was like, "What the hell am I watching?" is when Nick Cage showed up. That kind of threw me off guard. But yeah, and then, at the end with Clooney as well. That was a surprise for me. I don't know if it added anything. I know you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, this whole movie didn't really add anything. That's why I wouldn't even recommend that people even watch it. Because it's going to get chucked anyway. I don't even think it really reboots anything. It's kind of just there. It's something that was left over from a previous regime, and they had to put it out so they could try to make some money off of it. I think that's it, and I don't think we see extra anymore after this in the DCU. That's my
Thank
opinion.
God. I'm very glad about that fact. If we don't see any more extra in this universe, that is fine by me. There seems to be a lot riding on this movie, but also there's so much going on, but it doesn't differentiate itself from all of the other movies that we've gotten as of late. And yeah, I guess it is something that they just had to put out. But I kind of do regret spending money on this. This was one of those premium tickets. I was like, this better be good. Now I'm like, oh, I could have just watched that online. But We did it. We saw it. That's in the past. I don't think I'll be rewatching this movie. What do you think, Felicity? Will you revisit this?
Yeah, if I do revisit it, it would be like a watch party type of thing, where maybe I'll just crap all over it the whole time.
Hate watch. Yeah, we love one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I think I don't know. This movie just left me with the wrong feeling. I'm kind of just tired of a lot of the elements that were thrown in here. First of all, extra, obviously not great. We've been following extras adventures for the past few years. But other than that, like, I know that no story is entirely original, but this just felt like a combination of like Back to the Future, Multiverse of Madness, the new Spider-Verse movie, a lot of the other superhero stories that we've already seen before, with some old and new actors thrown into the mix. But it just, I think you're right. It didn't really add anything for me. And for a movie that's been, supposedly all these people have said how good it is, I think that that was all just marketing. I do not see what they are seeing, unfortunately. What do you think, Felicity?
Yeah, there's nothing special here. I've, you know, mourned the fact that, the MCU has gone downhill since Endgame. And it's possible that, comic book movies in general have gone down since Endgame, because there hasn't been, with the exception of maybe Across the Spider Verse, and even I question the multiversal aspects of that movie. So I don't know, man. We might be in a period of people getting away from comic book movies altogether because they kind of jumped the shark at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that any good comic book movie will do well, but it's just a problem of a lot of the content that we've gotten lately hasn't been up to par with the new and exciting kind of stories that we need to see. I'm hoping with, some of the newer stuff we'll see kind of another boom, but I don't know. This movie is not the boom that we're hoping for sure.
It's a solid 5 out of 10 for me. And go watch some DCAU. I think you'll get better use of your time and enjoy it more.
I'm on the same page as you about 5 out of 10, if that even. Wouldn't recommend, but you know what? I watched it and it's in the past. So yeah, thanks y'all for watching so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Catch us next time.
All right, bye.